Booming blade, yeah.
And we are live.
No, we're
Yay.
not.
Well, we're live-ish.
Live-ish.
So I guess for the sake of the people that are watching this on the old YouTubes, welcome to a special little RP session, prelude to Sonata 3, apparently. We're doing this to help make some decisions, because I gave the players of Sonata 3 a choice as to which direction they wanted to take for that particular adventure. And some of the characters need to reconcile the decisions of the players, let's say. This little RP session is going to help us decide who we're going to see return for the Sonata 3 adventure, and who is going to be playing new characters as their existing characters go off and do something else, let's say. I have plans, but for now, let's just say something else. So I'm just going to wait until Rojan gets back. He's getting some wake-up juice, as he put it. So who's excited for Sonata 3 in like a month?
I am.
Yes.
Me.
Yo.
Me.
I'm. We'll see. We'll see where we're at.
That's
Even
fair.
more excited for the full-blown campaign coming soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tia.
Which is
I'm-
a potential possibility. Maybe.
I'm just looking forward to see who can like sway Emo Boy to do something that's not self-centered.
Yeah. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. I mean, at the end of this RP session, we may find like half of you are just going to be playing new characters because your existing ones don't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Or we
And-
may
and-
find all of you go.
And I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm just like this is literally my character, how he is as a person. He's just
No, you're playing your character.
he's like thrust into this chaotic situation. He's like, I don't know you people. Everyone's just like all happy-go-lucky to go along with this obvious death trap scenario. I don't understand. Like, do you not care about your lives? I
Yeah, and that's why
we don't have to burn down the world, but I mean, we don't have to be part of the bucket brigade either. It's like,
and that's exactly why I wanted to do this, because I know there are some characters that are like without hesitation, yeah, absolutely, let's go do this. And then there are other characters that are like, well, like maybe let's not instead.
I mean, if you were to flat out ask Ray if she cared about her life, the answer would be no. So
That's fair.
I mean,
let's go down in a blaze
That's
of glory,
oh,
barbarian style.
it's like I'm gonna die anyway. It might as well be for a reason.
Yep.
And so without giving away which adventure you guys chose for Sonata 3, because that will be revealed in this RP session, I am excited for the one that you guys chose, because it's going to bring to light a lot of stuff that has been slowly building since the first Sonata about specific characters. So that'll be interesting.
Honestly don't remember which one we chose. Because I voted for both.
It'll be
Yeah.
a surprise for you then.
All I know is I'm gonna need to talk to you, Fox, if I'm gonna need to have to bring back some voices. But yeah, and unfortunately, Popper Grotto will not be here. Unfortunately, he's school or working, but he will definitely be able to put in his vote and make that decision after he watches this VOD.
Yeah.
For
So-
sure.
Now that Rojan is back,
Can't prove that.
why don't we just jump right into it?
It's just a pre-recording of Rojan.
That's acceptable.
It's just a very high quality CG.
Yep.
Yeah, we just taped a picture of Rojan to the camera.
Sometimes I do wonder if he's just being really still or if his camera freezes.
I am an expert at being very still.
He does a lot.
It's actually a deep fake, and Cassie's there pretending to be Rogan.
Yep.
So,
Man, Face Rig got real good with their
Yeah, it did.
characters.
It has been several weeks since your escape from the hellish winterscape that Eugene had sent you to. You had successfully removed the Shadow's taint from the strange dragon that resided within the mountain there. And after handing the dragon's egg and a curious sword over to the Archfey Alceus, you joined together as her forest burned on the horizon to be transported to your original destination from the beginning of that adventure, the pride of this continent's engineers and arcanists alike, capital city of Kelmira. Many of you went your separate ways after entering the capital, taking the time to resupply, to rest, to brood, to otherwise dwell on events you just endured, and to take care of whatever business had seen you heading in this direction in the first place. While here, you also had the opportunity to enjoy the bounty of the week-long High Harvesttide Festival that happens during the second week of the first month of a new year. The turning of the year means that it is now 1586, and the cool wind of autumn has begun to set in. On this day, each of you awoke in your respective places of slumber to find a small red envelope, its edges shining with gold, placed next to you. Inside of each envelope, a note, all bearing the same message. Cannondella Tavern, this evening. Intrigued, curious, angry, whatever your reasoning, you have each decided to attend this invitation, and as you arrive, as groups or as individuals, you are all directed to a table tucked away in the corner of this quiet, out-of-the-way tavern. Upon the table, a veritable feast of fancy. Freshly prepared foods and drink of all kind await you. The benefactor, however, is nowhere to be seen. So which of you arrive together, and which of you arrive alone?
Alone.
If Durden's arriving alone, Rojan, feel free to correct me on this, but I feel like Kage and Rojan, and Forge, have formed a little bit of a bond.
Yeah, and Forge would probably go to the tavern immediately after getting the note.
Kage would not, though.
He's probably a couple hours early, and he would probably just be sitting there waiting for everyone else to show up.
So you get to sit there at the table as the wait staff start to bring out all the food and stuff as evening approaches. So at the very least, you can confirm, Forge, that this isn't like a trap. It isn't poisonous food being laid out on the table or anything for you guys. It's just the tavern wait staff cooking it up and placing it, expecting you all to arrive.
He actually would not be alone. For Adrin would be there as well, quite early. Scoping it out mostly, doing what he does best, trying to make sure that it's not a trap or something from his past coming to get him. He goes early, and probably after seeing Forge, he will be happy to see a familiar face and gladly sit beside him while they wait for the time.
Yeah, and Forge is probably like poking like a Jello mold or something. Just fascinated. Yeah, just like fascinated that it jiggles and people actually put this in their body.
I wouldn't exactly arrive early. She'd arrive pretty much on time, but she will come in like kicking the door down, axe across her back, goat at their side. Then see that it's only food, and then like, oh, awesome, food.
So as you arrive, goat at your side, you are stopped by somebody on staff. Goat's gonna have to wait outside, sorry. There's a hitching post. They'll be fine.
There's a moment of hesitation where she thinks about arguing, and then she'll go outside. So I know
And
big fuss.
it's a decent hitching post. There's a trough of water and a dish for food if you want to put something out for the goat or order something for the goat. It's not like, ew, filthy animal, keep it out. It's just rules are rules.
Yeah.
We put a place aside for them.
Goats are stinky animals. It's okay.
They do poop a lot.
They do. They just generally smell.
So what about Perseus?
Perseus will arrive as close to exactly when we're supposed to be there as possible, as he is preoccupied with other things.
Okay. And is Durden, is Durden showing up? And if he is, I assume he's probably going to be like the last one to show up.
Yep. He will be the last one to show up.
So eventually you all do find yourselves there at this table in this tavern. The benefactor, again, the person that set this up, nowhere to be seen, no indication as to who it was or why they did this, but you all have been gathered here, all receiving the same type of envelope with the same note in it. So you do have a moment to catch up with each other, having been separated for several weeks after such a harrowing adventure. Or if you are all just going to sit there and awkwardly look at each other, we can move along.
Ray is full on stuffing her face. Just both hands. Screw utensils.
Kage will be doing similarly and ordering more food at the same time.
And let's be honest, she's probably staying on the table because she's too short for the chairs.
They do have chairs available for varying heights.
Booster seats.
Hear that? That's what the table's for.
That was a nice way of saying booster seats, yes.
Kage will lean over to Forge, tap his elbow against him. Hey, bud, you gonna eat that? No, of course not.
I don't know how people can eat some of these things. I poked that one like 2 minutes ago and it's still wiggling. I don't think it's dead yet.
That's what makes it delicious.
Not dead, Forge. It's a dessert.
It looks like a slime.
Well, it just
It's
looks like
accurate.
a slime. It's not one.
I don't know. Have you ever eaten a slime? I haven't. Maybe I should.
I haven't eaten anything.
I'm not sure you want to eat something that can actually eat you from the inside out. But I mean, if you want to try, I'm not going to stop you. And he just has like a big old tankard of honey mead. And he's just like, sitting in the darkest part of the table, with basically just like a cheese
Right in the
plate.
corner.
Yeah, cheese plate, some cheese, some salted meat, some bread, basically a tapas plate. He's just like, why the hell am I here? It's like,
And
I know I'm here. She told me I have to come.
The food and the drink that is on the table that was waiting for you guys, it's curiously almost exactly what you were craving in the moment that you arrived. As though whoever set it out, whoever ordered it, seemed to know in advance what your likes and dislikes were.
It's strange that all of our... I mean, did anyone order this for us? As you hear that robotic voice again coming from Adrian.
Before Durden eats anything, he would cast Detect Magic.
I was here.
Nothing magical.
I was here when they brought it out. I was a little confused at when they first started doing it, since I don't eat. But now that you are here, it makes sense.
I didn't order anything, though.
And I did not either, but here it
Seems
is.
that whoever sent, and Perseus pulls a letter out of his coat and sets it on the table. These has a bit of extra knowledge.
Strange.
I
I
mean,
got the
in
same
some
thing.
cases might not be terribly difficult to assume what we would like, as Perseus is holding on to most of a chicken in front of him.
Well, I
Maybe-
scoped the area first, and no one of interest or of suspect were about, so... And I came quite early. In fact, Forge was here as well, so... I'm not sure what is happening, but this person, this being, whoever it is that has called us here, doesn't want to do us harm, that we know.
You guys ever
Um,
stop to think maybe it's just a spread?
It's good
How-
food. Don't turn your nose up at good food.
How accurate, or how... What did the letter tell us outside of being
It
here?
it told you nothing other than the name of the inn and the time at which your presence was requested.
Did we know who it came from?
Nope. When you woke up in the morning, it was just there beside you.
Can I check the sundial and see what time it is?
I'm going to smell it.
Sure, you check your sundial indoors, and it somehow tells you the time.
Oh, there's artificers now. I guess clocks are a thing. Yeah, okay.
And it's about 5 o'clock right now.
Okay.
Ish.
So I don't suppose any of you actually have any idea why we're here.
I'm going to smell the letter.
To eat.
We got a letter.
It smells faintly of sweet berries.
Durden
Is that a
says,
familiar smell?
Durden
No.
says, I'm here because I was told I have to be here.
I mean,
Only here so I don't get fined.
it's... If all of us are here, I assume maybe it had something to do with what we did several weeks ago. I mean, it was quite a dragon that we faced, I imagine, and we had technically a witness. I imagine maybe word got around. Not sure, but I usually use my services for hire to help the good, so if that's what this is, then I am here.
So,
Still,
as you sit there in conversation, looking back and forth between each other, all at once you come to the realization that there is an additional patron at your table, one that you're positive you didn't see enter the tavern and join your group. And yet, there she sits, the familiar white pointed ears tipped in red, bright green eyes, and swishing tail. And she looks around at everyone. Well, I see you all got my message.
How did you get in my room?
you.
Oh, I didn't actually go in your room. I just sent the letter.
So we have you to thank for this good food.
Yes. Well, at the tavern, technically, but I did pay for it.
Much appreciated. I assume... Is everything okay, considering what happened?
Well, that depends on your definition of okay. Am I okay? Yeah, I'm just fine. Is the world okay? Probably not.
Well, the world is always a broken place.
Yeah, it is. But
Kage's
you're here to
eyes are-
fix that, right?
Always here to help.
When you say fix, this seems like it's a little more than go put something back. What does that entail?
We're fixing things?
Yeah, well, didn't
Potentially fixing.
Kage, you know, the whole thing with the Lyceum that we talked about in the woods?
So Kage's mouth is just slightly ajar, and his eyes are wide, and he's just got this beaming, happy face on. What? What?
Hi, hello.
Actually see
Hello
tail
again.
flapping.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
You told them all, right? About the whole rebuilding the Lyceum thing?
Oh, you wanted me to come? Oh,
Well, that's
so
fine.
hey guys.
You're all just such good friends that you share that stuff with each other, right?
No, apparently not.
I'm looking for one of my friends.
More of companions by force, considering we were all dropped in the middle of an icy lake, but banded together in the end.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go get a drink. Fill them in, Kage. She just gets up and wanders off.
Really?
Wait, there's drinks?
I'll bring some extras.
There's Adrian's just gonna like push over a pitcher of beer that was next to him over to Ray.
Probably half the size of me, so she's just
Probably.
gonna like lean over it and start drinking.
It comes in pints.
We're
So what's this
we-
information that you forgot to tell us?
yes, I thought we were looking for Snowdrop.
Oh, your
I
friend.
didn't
Isn't
forget to-
that the goat that Ray
Doesn't
No,
mean-
in on?
No, my friend's
What
my
about
friend's
Snowdrop?
name is Snowdrop too.
That's a weird coincidence.
That's right, there's
Odd.
2 snowdrops. That was confusing at first.
Yes, I thought my Snowdrop got turned into that Snowdrop.
That'd be unfortunate.
When
What is
did you-
your snowdrop?
An evil
fairy.
manipulative thing that pretends she's a fairy.
She really evil.
No, she's very nice.
I mean, nice people can be evil.
She's not evil.
She likes to mind control people when she doesn't get her way.
Oh. That doesn't
Was it
sound very
actually
nice.
mind control?
She didn't mind control anyone.
You're-
Durden's just mad because she made him feel nice.
Yeah, against my will, mind control. I've been under its effect before. I know what it is.
Is it
To
mind control
feel
or is it
nice?
feelings control?
No, she was trying to placate me.
Was it evil through nice deeds then?
People who smile and like to use mind control on people, as far as I'm concerned, don't deserve to be on this world.
That seems quite harsh, but I don't know the situation.
She's actually very nice. She treated me not like a mindless machine.
I mean, there's entire orders of paladins and clerics that
Well,
use.
To be fair,
Just
Forge,
calming
you're not
spells
a
to-
mindless machine.
I actually
use
do have that in my
spells.
wheelhouse of spells, so I have that ability, but it's not mind control. It's more of just more like a sedative for emotions. But it's not uncommon. Not to my knowledge, anyway. Is it
But-
for you guys?
I find that slightly alarming, mostly because I get power from my emotions. But
Point stands, there are just regular spells. And they're not
Did you try-
technically mind control?
talking to her about it, telling her you didn't like it, so she'd stop.
She claimed she didn't do anything when I obviously know that she did. I've been under the effect before. Let's just say I've made more than one house mother cross with me in the past. I'm familiar with those tactics.
Does she have something to do with the repair of the Lyceum, then?
No,
I
Is
don't
that the
think so.
connection?
No, she's a prisoner somewhere. She's probably dead.
It's not very nice.
Then what does this have to do with the Lyceum? And he
Wait,
looks
wait,
over
what
at
do you-
Kage.
What do you mean she's probably dead?
I told you about the vision I had. She's probably dead.
That doesn't mean anything. People have crazy visions all the time.
Well, I don't normally have visions about people I want nothing to do with.
Well,
Usually,
maybe deep down you do have something. You do want to have something to do with her.
usually visions are more of just whether you wanted to see them or not, are more of something reaching out to you for help or setting a path. Sometimes it's not necessarily a direct answer.
Well, that's a little bit confusing. If it was asking for help, I'm pretty sure she'd be better off asking Forge for help instead of me.
I didn't necessarily say it was from that person. It could be from a more powerful being, a more powerful creature, or a god, or just
She also
the
might
powerful
consider
will.
you a friend, whether you know it or not.
And I
Really?
think you think she's a friend too, Durden. You've been traveling with me this entire time to look for her.
I've been traveling with you this entire time to convince you to not to look for her because I'd rather not have you die in a foolish quest.
I have a question for you,
I
Forge.
technically cannot die. My life is pointless.
Your life is not pointless. How many times do I have to tell you that?
Forge, I am unfamiliar with your kind. Do Warforged sleep or dream?
I've never met any of my kind before, but I don't sleep or dream or eat.
Perhaps Durdrin
Or
was
breathe.
maybe a conduit for you then, reaching out since you cannot sleep and you don't dream.
True.
It is
Visions
possible.
do only usually appear during sleep, so.
Indeed.
Well, to be fair, Forge is the first of his kind that I've seen. He's not
Yeah.
just a simple construct.
Strangely enough, you aren't the first that I have seen, but the first that I have interacted this much with. But
See?
really, you're only the second one I've ever encountered.
Like I told you, not a mindless machine. Just because your essence lives in something mechanical doesn't mean it doesn't have a purpose. Or it has.
Oh, I have a
relevance.
purpose. My purpose is to defend.
No, your purpose is what you make of it.
That is my design. That's what I was made for, to defend.
Yes, and the person who made you is buried and rotted under a pile of rocks. You can now choose
And-
your own path.
And my path is to find and defend Snowdrop, as she's technically my new controller.
No, she's not true.
Forgot about that.
Right as Forge says that, you guys hear a bit of a shriek from one of the other tables, and you look over. Adrian, you're the one with the ludicrous passive perception, right?
I believe so, yeah. Oh, yeah, 23.
Okay. So
Jesus Christ!
And that's
as
it.
you all look
Your
over
passive
in
is
that,
I was a
23.
city guard, okay? I look at everything.
That's it.
as you look over in that direction, you see Kage there in his seat, but he's like just finishing a motion of some kind, as though he was just fidgeting or just getting up or just sitting down or whatever it happens to be. But you don't have time to think about it. As you look over, all of you, in the direction of the shriek, and you see two people at a table suddenly trying to usher a badger out of the tavern, as though it had just appeared at their table, and they were quite alarmed by it, and now they're trying to get it out of the tavern. It's a bit of a humorous struggle watching them try and fight with a badger, but they do eventually get it out through the front door.
I don't think they cooked that one.
And
Why
I,
they
Oh,
didn't
don't
just-
cook badgers. Why is there a badger?
You know what? Adrian's too suspicious because of his past. I think he wants to check to see if it's just actually a badger or not.
Candied bacon.
Maybe it was a druid.
I mean,
Someone pissed off the druid.
he's a guy who's, because of what happened to him, is always looking over his shoulder. So why not a badger? So can I do a check for him?
Sure. Give me a nature check to see
Okay.
if you can determine if this is actually a badger.
That's my nature's not that great, but let's see what happens. Oh, okay, that's not too bad. 14.
14. It appears to actually be a badger.
Okay. He calms down just a little bit.
And
Enough.
eventually
Strange.
the patrons do calm down as well after the badger is removed from the tavern, and they kind of stand there talking to each other for a while, looking around as though they're looking for someone, and then eventually they just go back to their table. You do notice, however, that there's a third seat at their table, and there is a plate at that seat, as though someone was there, possibly the person that they were looking for a moment ago, but they don't seem to be there now.
Kage, did you have something to do with that?
Mouthful of me.
Well, it was brief, but I saw you do some sort of motion. Did you cause a little chaos there?
Was it this? And he's going to take a piece of food off the table and throw it up in there and catch it in his mouth.
No. You know, you'll waste food if you miss.
I don't miss. Throws more food, completely misses. Biffs it.
Does anyone remember actually seeing another person at that table?
Did Mirror Forge since we were here early?
Yeah, both of you can give me history checks.
Oh, okay.
I don't have my dice.
This is why you take them out no matter what.
You said there would be no need for dice.
I'm proficient
did
with
say that.
history.
Here,
Oh,
let me look.
that's good. Okay.
I use the dice roller for for a 23.
22.
Yeah, you both distinctly remember that group coming in. That third person that was with them, you remember because they were a halfling with a rather large brimmed purple hat with several colored feathers in it. That's why it sticks in your memory, because that's a very loud hat to wear. But they aren't there at the moment.
Adrian makes a note. Suspicions about Badger.
Maybe the badger ate him.
Yeah. Interesting.
I mean, I could go outside and cut the badger in half, see if it falls out of the stomach.
No.
Probably not necessary.
More like, you know, just for peace of mind, he's gonna throw up detect magic just so it lasts the whole 10 minutes and see if anything else happens. Just to keep it up.
Okay. As you put detect magic up, it's like a. Yeah, I think it's like a train horn going off behind you as you turn around to look at the source of this, and you see Alcius has returned, and she had just walked into your detect magic range, and it's like going off like fireworks around her. But she does sit back down at the table with a drink in her hand. So, Kage, you explained everything, right?
Well, I tried to start telling them, but then they just wanted to talk about how Durden hates life.
Oh,
And then
I
that
don't
that
hate life.
and that
Something
table's
about
meal came to
someone
life.
named Snowdrop?
Oh, that's right. You don't hate life. You hate being happy.
You don't know me to make that statement. I like being happy. I don't like complications in my life.
You said you were made happy against your will, so that means you didn't want to be happy.
So against his will was his problem.
Yeah, that's the part you're ignoring. Against my will.
Though I do think you need to have a conversation with the Snowdrop, because maybe she just didn't realize what she was doing. And she needs to be made aware so she doesn't make anyone else uncomfortable.
The point being, you were made happy, but you didn't want to be happy, so you don't like being happy.
Your logic confuses me totally. I don't mind being happy. I don't like my emotions being changed from what I'm currently at.
Then why don't you let yourself be happy?
Who says I'm not happy?
I think Ray's gonna throw whatever piece of bone is in her hand at Kage, aiming for his head. Just die.
I'm still confused. Does this have anything to do with the repairing
Anyway.
the Lyceum, or is this just two separate things and I'm just confusing the
I
two?
don't even know what a lyceum is.
Yeah, what is this Lyceum thing?
So, anyways, long ago, and he's gonna get. Should I actually do this?
Yes.
Are you gonna do the
yeah, I'd like to hear Kage's interpretation of it.
Do you
All right.
remember?
Not to put you on the spot or anything, but
Oh God, do you remember?
All right. Long ago, in this land, there were several schools of wizardry. Each had their own tower spread across the land, and they were really powerful. And each tower had a teleportation circle, and it's the best way that they had to get around. Well, then this force that they eventually ended up calling the Shadow came along and started fighting them, like trying to take control of the whole land. And they figured out the way that it was doing that was through the teleportation circles. So when they figured that out, they're like, oh man, the only way we can really take the thing out of the equation is to destroy all our towers. And they did. And the archmages of each tower basically sacrifice themselves to do it. And now that's why there's only a few teleportation circles that are buried in ruins across the entire land. And yeah, apparently that only kind of stopped the shadow for a while, because it's coming back. And that's what was messing with the dragon that we fought.
So the Lyceum is a
Big chunk of meat.
collection of powerful wizards that used to live in towers.
Yeah,
Is that what it is, or is it a collection of teleportation circles?
it's the oh,
Yes.
she knows better than me.
You're mostly right, actually. That was a pretty good synopsis. The Caldera Lyceum was an organization of sorts. They were mostly mages and arcanists, but there was various levels to it, and it was all for the good of the people and the good of the land. This continent was very prosperous once upon a time. But then, as Kage mentioned, the Shadow started to wreak havoc on everything, and they had to make the ultimate sacrifice to put a stop to it. And in the process of that, ended up destroying their towers and destroying the Lyceum at the same time. And now the Shadow is returning, and we need the power of the Lyceum in order to fend it off.
And you used to be part of it.
I don't like to advertise that.
Wait, so
I'm sorry. Should I mind wipe everyone? Oh wait, no, I can't.
I could, but I won't.
I would prefer not. I think I may know someone that may have been involved. They were using one of the abandoned towers as a workshop.
Possibly.
Really?
There's a small handful of us left.
So why don't you guys just come back together and make your new Lyceum? Old
Well,
Lyceum?
You see, the problem is that was well over 1,000 years ago. And unlike me, most of the others are crusty old mages that can barely walk, let alone defend themselves.
Well, this one was old, but still very much in his prime from how he did things. He's
yes,
a dear
there's
friend.
Some of us that are more than just mortal, let's say, that were a part of it. This acquaintance of yours could very well be one of those. However, we didn't really like being involved in the first place. So we would like to not be overly involved this time around, and that's where all of you come in. You see, all of you have had first-hand experience with the Shadow now.
What if I just talk to him?
No.
Might be able to. That also explains why he had a Warforged with him. But it's.
Do you want us to be the Lyceum?
Don't understand. We're not wizards. Well, except for maybe some of you guys do magic, but
I'm
we're not.
a
We're not all
wizard.
wizards.
Not a wizard, no.
The wizards were only at the top. There were many people of many talents throughout the Lyceum.
Of course, and there's a hierarchy, and the wizards are the top of the pecking order. Usual.
I still don't understand.
It's a pecking order.
Yes, and somebody needs to start rebuilding it.
Okay,
And
have fun with that.
You guys have the most first-hand experience with the Shadow at this point, more or less. So I chose you.
Can you?
You choose again.
We
I like to
fought-
wander.
We fought the Shadow a little bit with those creatures and the dragon, but I don't think we actually fought the Shadow.
No.
Like, what is it?
What you encountered were creatures tainted by the Shadow. The Shadow itself is Well, I'm going to be honest. I don't actually know if it's a single entity or if it's something else entirely. If it's just the influence, if it's this taint that grows on these creatures. I don't really know what it is. I just know that we have to stop it.
Stop trying to figure out what it was for the last 1,000 years.
Well, we thought we got rid of it. So I had more important things to do, to be honest.
I don't understand any of this, but I'm on my own mission right now.
What would restoring it mean other than the use of the teleportation circles?
Well, it would mean that we would have a fighting chance. We would be able to defend our towns and our cities. We would have the greatest minds of the land all coming together to try and come up with a solution to this problem.
Well, you can
Capable of
certainly
just
count me in.
convincing very powerful wizards to just give up whatever they're doing and join this super not so secret organization of clicky wizards and other people.
Yeah, it's a daunting task, and wizards don't seem to like to share their secrets for some reason. They're very vain most of the time.
My former controller said that a collection of wizards in one place is a mistake waiting to happen.
And it often is.
So why would you want to bring that back?
Because they honestly couldn't do any worse than what the Shadow is going to do.
So it just creates two problems.
What if they made another shadow?
Well, that
They
would be
use
a
one shadow
problem.
to fight the other shadow.
Yeah.
Then you would have two shadows.
That sounds
Wouldn't
like a
that be
very
worse?
wizard solution.
Yeah, well, that's why myself and the other survivors like me are going to be sticking around to oversee the project.
I would like to offer my assistance since it would help many cities and people, especially since I have a friend that may be able to want to help as well. He's very kind, and I feel like he would be not only a tremendous help, but not try to get in the way. He's too old, I'm sure, to want to be petty, to be power hungry.
Wonderful. So, you're all on board then?
Well, I mean,
I certainly am.
I have.
can't. I have to find Snowdrop.
What's a snowdrop?
My
My goat?
friend. It has the same name as her goat, but it is not the goat.
It's just funny because you're like, my friend, my goat? It's like your friend's the goat?
And perhaps this might be a little easier for me. Forge, would you permit me to look into your mind for a moment?
I don't have a mind.
Yes,
Not like
you have
you do.
enough of a mind.
Yes, you do, Forge.
You have an HD card, it's okay.
You have a heart. You have a heart and a soul too. You just
It's
you
SSD,
just
you
haven't
got this.
figured out how to feel it yet.
I can confirm that I have neither. Well, I don't have a heart, but I do have a soul
Not
in this body.
Anna-
No, not hard.
Atomically.
Hard
Heart.
drive. Hard. Not heart.
I guess you can try.
Okay, wonderful. I already did, so I know who Snowdrop is now.
Fuck your
Thanks.
permission.
It's a fey. That was
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was just feigning asking for permission.
Yeah.
Was it
So
feigning?
okay, you are not invited anymore. Get out.
Whoa! That's such a
Rocks
snowdrop
fall
joke.
specifically. Rocks fall specifically on your chair.
Another honey badger pops up. They are now trying to chew
And
your
the
leg
badger
off.
comes back. It's a honey badger. Chews on my leg.
And you have rabies.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, okay, I understand your position, Forge. I was a little afraid that you were going to want to do that. I don't suppose I can convince you otherwise.
I don't believe so. I have put off enough time with this whole incident that's took place a couple weeks ago. I need to find her. From what Durden has told me, she's in trouble.
Probably dead.
She's not dead.
Pretty sure the word's dead were used.
Well, we've had enough time that Forge would be able to use the Echo Stone himself, right?
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure Forge was intending to do that.
What's the Echo Stone again?
So the
Echo
Echo
Stone-
Stone is the item that Durden had touched that revealed that scene to him that Snowdrop was in. And enough time had elapsed that another person could touch it to view the scene if they wanted to.
Yeah. He hasn't touched it.
You know, I
Oh, snap.
really like helping people out, but it sounds almost more like the fate of the world is more important than the fate of one. Unfortunately.
Bitch.
I understand.
Unfortunately,
What
I've
I'm
been
what
in
I
this
am-
type of situation before, and I have followed the fate of one before, and it does not end well.
what I'm doing is inherently selfish, and I realize that. But she needs my
There's
help.
nothing wrong trying
No.
to help a friend. I understand that completely. I will never hold that against you, Forge.
And if I had known this Snowdrop, maybe I'd be more inclined to come and help. But I'm real good at wandering around and finding random people in random spots. I know a good druid friend. She raises goats, but maybe she can be of help.
Well, from the sound of it, if we were to go after the Snowdrop character, we'd probably find that Eugene guy too.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's right. You guys had a prior battle with him, the one that
Yeah.
teleported us.
Yeah, we threw him off a cliff and thought he was dead.
Yeah, apparently falling 300 feet to the ground is not enough to kill him. So
You also mentioned before that he had new abilities you haven't seen before, so perhaps he's still involved.
something happened to him. He did something to himself. What, I don't know, but he's not the person that we were up against. If he had those abilities when we first met, probably wouldn't be standing here right now.
Whatever it is, I bet the Shadow's got something to do with that too.
It'd be
do
real
you
fun to
think?
stick my axe in that guy.
I mean,
No. I think I know somebody that might be able to shed a little bit more light on this situation.
Do you know Eugene?
Oh, no. No, I don't.
Thank
Sounds
God.
like I don't want to, honestly.
And he's not nice.
no, he
Seems that way.
he
needs
did
an axe
some
to the
very
face.
dark magic and did something not necessarily awful, but not forgivable.
Definitely needs an axe to the face.
Yeah.
From what I remember, a
teleported us.
pup trying to
Killing
be an
torture
alpha
people.
dog.
So, perhaps, well, just have a look over there. And as you all turn to see in the direction that she's pointing, you see off against the opposite wall is seated another familiar figure. The companion, actually, to the winter wolf that helped you find the dragon's lair. The arcanist, Antia Venathan. Her pale hair and pointed ears and scarred tan skin is immediately recognizable to you. Parchment and tomes, quills, and candles litter her table, and she appears entirely consumed by whatever it is she's working on. She, I believe, is on his trail as well, and I'm pretty sure she knows where he is.
Well, there you go, Forge. You're in luck. I would love to help you. Trust me, I would, but I'm afraid I'm with Ray on this one. I would like to protect many as opposed to one. I hope you understand.
I understand. You did not know her. She's not your friend. You will know allegiance to her.
But I am hopeful for you to find your friend, regardless if she is evil or not.
She's not evil.
Tin Man, when you do find your friend, come find us again.
It's like
Indeed.
when Forge says out loud that she's not evil, Durden will mouth over to the Eladrin.
Well,
There are several of us at the table.
why doesn't someone go retrieve the lady over there?
I will do it.
I was waiting for Forge.
And Forge is she sitting like in a seat?
Yeah, she's sitting
Don't pick
in a
her
chair.
up and drag her over here.
Yeah,
And-
if she's sitting in a seat, Forge is gonna walk over, and he's just gonna like lean down. Excuse me, miss, your presence is requested. And he's gonna grab the chair and just start trying to drag her across the floor.
So-
as Durden is yelling, because Durden knows that's exactly what Forge is going to try and do, because he takes everything too fucking literal.
Yeah.
He's just like, don't drag her.
And as you reach your hand forward to grab onto her chair, she, without looking up from her work, she holds one of her hands up, and a completely harmless magical shield kind of rebounds you backwards a couple feet away from her. And she just kind of calls out, "Not interested, thanks."
But our friend said you would have information on Eugene.
Oh.
He's taken a friend of mine, and I'm looking for her.
She sits there for a moment, and eventually, with a heavy sigh, she puts her quill down and turns to look at you with piercing yellow eyes. "And what is it that I can do for you?"
Well, if you knew where to find him, that means I may have a chance to find her.
Right. You know who this man is, then?
Oh yes, we've thrown him off a cliff before.
Oh, that was you. Okay.
Updates
And-
notes.
He then teleported us, and then a couple weeks ago we fought a dragon that was encased in ice because of him.
Yeah. And for a moment, she kind of looks past you at your table, and then all of the hair on the back of her neck just kind of stands on end, and she grits her teeth and grumbles under her breath a little bit as she seems to be looking directly at someone at your table, though from this distance you can't tell who specifically it is. And she stands up. "All right, let's get this over with." And she snaps her fingers, and as she does, all of the candles placed across her table immediately extinguish, and you see the tomes and parchment all close and roll up of its own volition, and corks cap the ink pots, and quills tuck themselves away as the edges of a cloth covering the table's surface fold up and over, crisscrossing and compressing until all that's left of the table's adornments is a small satchel, a fifth of the size of what it should be. And she scoops it up, hitches it to her belt, and joins you as you return to your table. She sits down quite abruptly, like dragging the chair back so it screeches across the floor, and she just immediately starts indulging in the feast sitting upon the table, making a concerted effort to first swallow a rather large bite before she speaks once again.
How much does one of those cost?
One of what?
This satchel.
I made it. They're not for sale.
Why not? You can make a small fortune.
I don't need a small fortune.
Well then, can I buy one from you?
They're not for sale.
Well then, can I trade you?
We'll talk about it later. Listen, thanks for the assist with the dragon thing. Kano told me what happened. I'm thankful and stuff. What do you need from me exactly?
I don't need anything. Apparently,
She said you knew where Eugene was.
Yeah, I've got an idea.
Maybe Snowdrop?
I don't know who that is.
She's a friend.
A tall, blonde, overly bubbly, obnoxious personality.
Okay.
Here, touch this, and he's gonna pull out the Echo Stone to like show, so she can get a sense of what's going on.
Hold up.
Jordan will speak him. He's like, you may not want to touch that.
Where the fuck did you get that?
Jordan, and I'm just point over to him.
Same question, but for you.
Oh shit.
Found it.
You found it. Do you know what that is?
Yes, it's an echo stone.
Yes. Do you know who makes those? I'll give you a hint. She's speaking right now.
Okay, so
That's incredible.
Oh,
okay,
wait.
so then
So
so why does your echo stone have a scene of Eugene torturing Snowdrop?
these
Eugene. Okay.
are yours too, and he pulls out the 3 that he got from the mansion.
Oh,
Yes.
Forge. Oh,
Yes.
bless your little metal
So
heart.
much, yes.
He's like, I'm honest
Now-
here.
I'm pretty sure those were on a shelf in my bedroom.
Womp womp.
Oh, that was your bedroom.
You were
Uh,
in my bedroom.
I thought that was a
uh,
guest room.
The door, we opened the door and nobody was in there, and we were searching for information, and
I'm sorry.
These
Stop.
prov-
Stop.
these
Stop.
provided information.
Hold on. Hold on. You went into my house.
We were invited into your house.
Oh no. Oh no.
We were invited into your house, and then we were locked into a room. I disassembled the lock so we can get out into the hallway, and then we got in your room. I hope you're not mad.
Do you make a habit of going into people's bedrooms when you're not invited?
Well, if we're investigating, yes. That's how you gain information, isn't it?
No.
Am I wrong?
That's how you get arrested by the town guard.
Oh,
But
the
the
town
town-
guard in that town were very.
Yeah,
They're a
town-
little special, I know.
The town guard wasn't there, and like Durden says, it's only illegal if you get caught.
Well, you told her what you did, so I mean, now you're caught.
Well,
That's
it's-
kind of true. You didn't touch anything else in there, did you?
I didn't. I was only interested in the stones because I can make these too.
I wasn't involved in this.
Neither was I.
I think somebody touch the coat that was in there?
If they did, they're probably dead now.
No. If I remember correctly, that glass case was warded very obviously.
It very much was. I did so in order to prevent people from touching my stuff when they're in my room when they're not supposed to be.
Well, I'm sorry. We were in search of information, and the lock on the door kind of.
In our defense, we were wrangled into trying to find a killer, and potentially they were held up in the mansion that we were invited into willingly. So, I mean,
You guys were invited into a mansion?
Yes,
it was actually pretty nice considering how cold it was.
it was full of werewolves.
Excuse me.
That
Kage
ex-
goes
wasn't.
That explains the
Kage-
giant wolf companion.
Okay,
Kage
so,
straightens up at that.
so okay, lycanthropes, if you don't want to use the,
Oh, okay, let's maybe not use those words at all out loud in a public place.
what's wrong
Are
with
they
that?
not accepted
mean,
here?
They weren't on a murder spree or anything. I mean, they're very civil. I mean, except for Eugene, he was pretty psychotic.
If they're minding their own business.
Yet werewolves don't mind their own business. They're monsters.
If
Normally,
they weren't, I think we wouldn't know about it by now.
I mean, they were the nicest monsters I've ever met, and I've met some pretty horrible monsters.
Yeah, they were nice to us. They just locked us in a room.
What you met were probably my brothers and sisters.
Sounds about
And
right.
they were obviously not changed at the time.
Well, not at the beginning.
Right. Okay. Why did I walk over to this table?
Because your presence was requested.
You
Durden
know where
dragged it over.
Eugene is.
I do.
Touch this.
And
Stone, it's hers. So I mean, again, if you didn't place the image in that stone, it's rather disturbing. You might not want to touch it.
if that stone contains an image of Eugene, it was probably him that took it from my bedroom. Again, why do people keep doing this?
Well, I mean, to be fair, Eugene is kind of an asshole.
Yeah, I agree.
You might want to get better locks.
You know, I have a very, very large winter wolf that's supposed to be guarding my bedroom.
The one that we helped earlier.
He was very nice. Apparently, he likes, crazy pretend fairy ladies.
Yes. He helped us.
He
Out of character. Didn't he let you in the room?
he helped.
Yeah, again,
you.
mind control. He talked to Snowdrop for a short amount of time, and then he placated and allowed us into the room.
Wait.
Like
Hold,
I told you,
Whoa.
she does this repeatedly.
hold on. Two things. One for you, one for you. Pointing one to Durden, pointing one to the
George.
werewolf lady. You, Durden. This Snowdrop, she likes to. She thinks she's a fairy, but she's obviously not.
Yes,
But she truly believes she's a fairy.
She's a sugar plum fairy.
she's not a sugar plum fairy, Forge. She is some form of elven humanoid who either had a very severe head trauma or is under some form of mind control herself.
I think she would know what she was. She has been it her whole life.
Oh, Forge. Pats Forge on the head. Keep your innocence, please.
Excuse me, she
I'm
was
not
a
guilty
sugar
of
plum
anything.
fairy. I'm just saying.
might help you to know, Durden. She has no control over that thing you call mind control, and it has nothing to do with your mind either. You, pointing over to werewolf lady.
Yeah, it's Angela.
Are you a resident of White Claw Keep?
Winterclaw.
White Claw.
Winterclaw?
White Claw.
That's where the
I'm
basic
thirsty.
werewolves are at.
Yes,
Just basic
we're in
bitch werewolves.
Winter Claw Key. All right, we're not in the valley with those other fucking hobos, okay?
The basic
sorry,
werewolves
sorry,
of White
wonderful.
Claw Keep.
That was great.
I live there with my family. Yeah.
Oh. I guess I'm supposed to help you guys.
Okay, that's news to me.
It would be.
Some
You've been out traveling.
crazy fox being seduced him, and now he wants to do stuff.
You mean her?
Just kind of waves.
Yeah, well, I mean,
And
Crazy
this
fox
has
lady.
nothing to do with her.
Yeah,
Although goals do
I-
seem to align. He looks over at Alcius. Though goals kind of line up. They're kind of parallel more.
It's funny how that worked out, isn't it?
funny, sort of serendipitous, huh?
Yeah, life is like that when you let it be.
Right. So the blatantly unexpected, oh, my goals happen to align with your goals for no apparent reason, doesn't even strike a bell of suspicion with you?
Not really. See it every day.
Well, sometimes the solution to several problems is the same. So, like, those goals can run parallel and all have the same endpoint. It doesn't necessarily have to be some sort of, like, big divine ordinance or anything.
Look, lady, I have 99 problems and Snowdrop ain't one.
I mean, that's fair. So that means you're gonna stay here with me, right? You're gonna help rebuild the Lyceum with Adrian and Ray.
No.
It would be real fun if you come and helped us. We could use your help.
Would be for the greater good, and since you have magic abilities as well, it could come in handy greatly.
So then you're going to go try to find and help save Snowdrop to help Forge save his friend.
She
Right?
is our friend, Durden.
No, she's your friend.
But then why are you looking for her?
Because I kind of like you, and
I like
seeing
you too.
walk into a flaming pit of hell to save this person who is more than likely dead.
That's what you do for friends. You walk in fire.
Casual acquaintance? We barely know her. You're using the term friend very strongly.
He's the first person who gave me a hug. He's my friend.
That is not the criteria to establish lifelong relationships, Forge. It's supposed to be trust.
I do trust
First,
her.
how can you trust her? You barely know her. She walks around thinking she's a fairy. She's obviously addled in her mind.
I don't know how many fairies you've met in your life, but she's the first one that I've met.
You've met a lot of fairies, Kage.
Yeah.
Bad experiences, judging from your facial expressions.
Not bad, just tiring.
It sounds like
Interesting.
her. Well, again, she was supposedly raised by them, so I'm pretty sure she picked up whatever bad habits they have.
They're not bad habits, they're just energetic. More so than me.
Doesn't that kind of explain why this Snowdrop thinks she is a fairy if she was raised by them? I mean,
no,
it sounds
that's
like
exactly
she
what
has
it is.
similar traits as well.
She's trying to save her friends or family too. Apparently some of them are sick.
And she was captured by this Eugene. What about your other companions?
I don't know. We lost contact with them shortly after we departed.
As far as I know, they're hopefully somewhere safe.
Weren't there, sorry, out of character, weren't there some hints as to a couple of the other characters in the Echo as well?
Yeah,
There
but
was, yeah.
Durden failed his perception to
Oh.
realize those people were there. So Durden only knows Eugene, Snowdrop, and another really, really angry shadow werewolf was in the room. So he didn't see anyone else in there or notice anyone else.
And Forge hasn't used the stone because he trusts what Durden says, so
Not 100%. Like she's probably dead.
well, you said probably, which means there's hope.
That means there's
Well, I
hope.
Eugene wanted to kill us. He used her to try and get us to a position where he could kill us. That failed.
Which means he's bad at killing.
Bad at killing people he doesn't have tied to a chair. Probably yes.
I don't know. He's failed to kill us twice now. Maybe he's just really bad at it in general.
So wait, if she is hunting Eugene and she knows how to use Echo Stones, why shouldn't she use it?
I didn't tell her she shouldn't use it. I'm just telling her the image that's on the stone right now is rather unpleasant.
Yeah, I don't need to use it. I know what he's capable of. I mean, he is my brother, so.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like
yes, oh my.
actual brother?
Unfortunate.
Well,
Your actual blood brother.
not blood per se, but I mean, we all lived in Winterclaw
Oh, he's part of
together.
your pack.
Yes.
What happened then if you're hunting him then? I assume that
He
means
had
he's no longer part of the pack.
He had a disagreement with the, I guess, matriarch of your pack.
He was
expelled.
ejected.
He didn't take too kindly to that, and then started killing villagers and trying to blackmail the pack for doing so.
Well,
Yeah, that was part of it.
I
Yeah.
can't
What?
assume how your pack works, the inner workings, but I would assume it's something so horrible for him to be ejected other than just a simple disagreement.
Yeah, I mean, there was all the murders, but that was only part of
what?
it. Well, he kept.
I said he kept murdering villagers. That's why he was
Ah.
ejected from the pack.
So we live in a large keep atop a cliff right above a village, and we have an unspoken agreement with the leaders of that village. They don't talk about certain things, and we do our best to leave them out of those certain things. Eugene had a different idea of how things should be.
Ah,
He wanted to run the place, didn't he?
It wasn't quite that straightforward, but I'm sure that was certainly part of it.
the stereotypical you guys were more powerful, therefore you should rule this town.
Not so much. Listen, there's a lot of... I don't know you people.
That's fair.
Like, I don't want to give away my family's secrets that you seem to know a lot about already, which is really disconcerting.
Well, I mean, we did, help them at their request and figure out what Eugene was doing and find him, and thought we helped them kill him, but
To be fair, I'm hearing all this for the first
Did
time
a
right now.
very, very
Same.
poor job of killing him. 'Cause
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you throw someone off a 300-foot cliff and see them bounce and have a pool of blood expound from their body, you kind of think they're dead.
This is
I'm
why you
sorry.
always go down
Don't-
with the axe, just to be sure.
Don't you guys know that even if you were to go down with your axe to, like, I don't know, I guess you'd take his head off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take his head
Okay.
off.
Well,
So,
they were
Even
like,
taking his head off, that doesn't mean he's going to stay
Well-
dead. There's plenty of things out there that can bring somebody back
Well,
from that.
Yeah, but
his
you take the head
brothers-
with you as a trophy,
his
and then they
brothers
can't put the
and
head back on.
sisters were very,
There's even things that work
very
against
much
that.
sure that he was dead. So we fulfilled our obligation. We got our rewards. We left the town, and that was the end of it. So we thought until lo and behold, Gene tried to basically murder dunk us into a frozen lake.
Right, and
That's where we came in.
he's been pretty busy for a dead man. Seems to have embedded himself within a village to the northeast. It's where I'm planning on going. But I travel alone. I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Can you please allow our friend Forge to go with you? He's very adamant about finding his friend.
Yes, I need to find her.
He is quite helpful and good at what he does.
And powerful.
Don't like traveling with people.
Well, that's perfect.
And-
I'm not people.
You're
He has a point.
Yes, you are.
well,
I mean, you are people, you have a spirit, I get all that, but
Snowdropper here.
for the sakes of people,
And I was kind of sent to help you. Or at least your family.
Yeah, who sent you exactly?
Kaga's gonna close his eyes and reopen them, and they're gonna be the golden eyes. And he's gonna have fangs in that moment. And Lady of the Summer.
Right. You know, a lot of people seem to be sticking their noses in my business right now.
I didn't want to. There's someone who I owe a rather large debt to who's making me do this. If it makes you feel any better, it's totally against my will.
Wouldn't you want more help anyway, especially if he seems more dangerous than before? Acquired some new abilities according to these two. Wouldn't you want extra help?
As far as I consider it, this is a family matter, and I would have liked to have settled it as such, but apparently several of you are involved regardless.
They seem to
So-
have helped your family before. Why not continue?
It sounds like your family invited them, pointing to Durden and Forge, and whoever they were with before to help.
Does sound that way, and I'm gonna have to talk to them about that.
Well, I mean, our business with your family was over when we thought Eugene was dead. Our business is that Eugene wants to kill us because he's a sore loser.
Tie up loose ends, probably.
He no one. Why he wants to tie up loose ends when we thought he was dead is probably the dumbest thing I think he's ever done so far.
Well, it sounds like this man holds grudges quite close. So the
Yeah,
fact
he
that you
does.
apparently threw him over a cliff would warrant
To
a
be
grudge.
fair, he did try to tear our throats out while he was in the lycanthrope form.
Doesn't mean
so,
the man won't hold a grudge for you trying to kill him
Yeah.
back.
I think the problem, Durden, is that regardless of if you want to be involved or not, he might pursue you and try to kill you till the day one of you dies.
That
Try
point, he might
teleporting you to
pursue-
your death already.
Well,
That-
if this works, then I don't have to worry about that.
And to that point, he might come after all of us for that because we got them out of that situation.
That's fair.
So wouldn't you want to help get rid of him then? Even if that means helping to find Snowdrop in the process.
I mean,
If I can
just finishing him.
If I cannot be within his sight, which again, if this works, then I don't have to worry about him.
that works. A good friend gave it to me. She wouldn't lie about that.
Which reminds me, Perseus, you've been awfully quiet. What do you want to do? What are your goals?
Well, that depends. If Eugene is intent on murdering everybody he comes across that didn't die the first time round, that could be quite inconvenient. But that being said, what is the Lyceum going to do to help this problem again?
Stop the shadow.
Yeah, Lyceum, once it's, back together, is gonna be like an idea factory, let's say. Coming up with possible solutions to this very, very large problem.
Uh-huh.
So they're going to be
question.
bureaucrats that hold unguided power and are going to basically tell a bunch of other people what to do and send countless numbers to their death.
So,
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not
not
sold
like
on
last
the.
time.
not to ask a question that nobody wants to obviously ponder, what if Eugene has aligned himself with the shadow, and in the grand scheme of things, both these objectives are one and the same?
Oh,
What
I'd bet money on it. No,
What if
seriously.
Lu-
Anybody
what
want
if
to take a
you-
bet?
What if Eugene rebuilds the Lyceum? Or tries to, or that's what he's doing.
That
Why
would be a
would
problem.
Eugene rebuild the Lyceum? He tried to feed us to some horrible beast of shadow.
That is true. It
To
would
me,
make
that
sense
seems
that he's
like
evolved.
he wants them alive because they further help him in some twisted way.
And perhaps that's what helped. That's how he survived. Perhaps this shadow helped him,
Well,
if that is the
I
case.
know
Also-
his
That ca-
werewolf companion has the same affliction the vampires did. So
I mean, in that case, he's gonna be really pissed that we helped that dragon out.
Can I do an
So-
insight check real quick on what was said just a few minutes ago? Because I forgot to do it earlier. On if what they said about the Lyceum and what the possibilities of it being achieved, if that's all truthful, because it is a fae.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nat 20 for 33, please.
33. Okay. What was said was truthful. There was obviously parts that were left unsaid.
Okay.
I mean, to be fair for endurance aspect, if the necklace will work and he won't be able to be found by magical means, at least.
So, I guess the more important question, and looking to, and I forgot her name already, Werewolf Lady.
And yeah,
And
We
yeah,
all want to say Anita, okay?
Yeah.
I want to say
Would-
Anita.
your brother in exile be insane enough to try to align himself with the shadow?
Again, willing to bet money on it. Anybody want to take that bet?
yeah, I'm kind of willing to bet money on it as well. I mean, he was thrown off a cliff. He should have been dead. But, people
Plus he has the
like
ability to fly.
to make deals when they're desperate. And he is a very desperate man.
So,
That is so true.
is there a chance that I really feel getting rid of him solves a larger problem in the meantime, as opposed to the Lyceum, which seems to be an ongoing problem?
Seems like they're a
And if
problem
he
either
is
way.
aligned with the shadow, it might be in our best interest before we even try to reestablish the Lyceum to get rid of him, so he doesn't hinder our progress in doing so.
If it helps in your decision making, not that I have agreed to help any of you with anything, but when you came across me locked in combat with that dragon, I wasn't there to fight that dragon. I was just passing through the area on my way to Eugene. I have a suspicion that he is spreading the Shadow's influence.
If it helps at all, I mean, technically, even though you weren't looking to fight the dragon, it sounds like these two has helped you and yours twice now. Wouldn't they be valuable assets then to travel with you?
They are valuable, absolutely. I just enjoy traveling alone, is all.
So,
Well, I mean, it's a very simple solution. We know where the village is. Forge is going to go there. I'm going to try and, again, stop Forge from doing something that is more likely going to get him unprepared.
I mean, the Lyceum's been missing for how long?
1,000+ years?
Thousands.
Over 1,000 years, yeah.
I think it can stay missing for another year while we hunt down Eugene and send his remains across the world in small little boxes so he can't be put back together again.
And how long has the shadow been back?
It's hard to say, really. I mean, it could have been working in the shadows for a long time now, but
I say
question is, did it ever leave?
I honestly think we should probably, to get to the heart of your question, I think we should deal with the more immediate problem as opposed to putting something back together that's been gone for 1,000 years.
Well, I mean,
That was fair.
so Alcius, you want us to find people who can help rebuild the Lyceum.
yeah. I mean, that's part of it.
What about her?
Nope.
That's
We don't get along.
You don't
What's
have
that got
to
to
get
do with
along to
rebuilding the
work
Lyceum?
together.
Okay, well, I'm gonna offer up another one of her secrets, why not? She, being the vain mage that she is, and you see Antia just like staring daggers at her, she would like to try and bargain with the shadow. I would like to destroy the shadow.
What can you gain from bargaining with the shadow?
Obviously, power.
I'm not in it for power.
You think you can control it, because...
I don't think it can be
Insight
destroyed.
check.
Yep, go for it.
It's such a... Yeah, that fucking wanna do it too.
There's no way you don't insight that. Come on.
Not as high this time. 25.
Ooh, just below that, 24.
Yeah, she's truthful when she says she's not in it for the power.
Yeah. Or the control.
Yeah, I'm not in it for the power. I'm not in it to try and control it. If I want power, I make power. But the most powerful organization that this continent has ever seen was incapable of destroying the shadow. I don't think it can be destroyed. At best, I think it can maybe be contained. I would like to learn more about it instead of just running headlong into it like the foolish Lyceum did so many years ago. They weren't interested in learning. I am.
I mean, that sounds like a valuable perspective to have in a grand council of people that have to make hard decisions about hard truths.
I don't want to be a part of their Lyceum, so. If you haven't noticed, I don't like working with other people.
You're kind of making me look like I'm shooting myself in the foot here.
Adrian will say,
I
like, no, you
apologize.
don't say, but because it's the same robotic voice, you can't understand their sarcasm behind it. That monotone.
You forgot to switch it to sarcasm mode.
Yeah, there's no sarcasm mode. Ah!
Look, my only concern in all of this is making sure Forge doesn't get himself killed.
I'm not going to get
Well,
myself
then
killed.
you might have to go help rescue
So
Snowdrop,
you're
for better
clairvoyant.
or worse.
Well, I will confirm that she's as dead as I believe that she is. And if she's not, well then, I hope she likes being a pincushion for Eugene.
Or a puppet.
Oh, well then, taste their real medicine. I can be with that. I'm totally fine
Again,
with it.
it wasn't mind control. I just told you that.
I don't know you all that well, and I know her even less, and I know what I felt, and I know what I felt in the past. Have you ever been chained to a wall and forced to live happy thoughts as you're brutally whipped and scourged, and then healed and have it done again until you learn to know better?
I mean, not exactly that, but
Then
not entirely dissimilar either.
Well, then, exactly. I don't like people messing with my mind against my will. It brings back unpleasant memories.
She doesn't even have any control over it.
Even worse, she's a hazard then.
For making you feel happy?
For randomly mind controlling people willy-nilly,
It's not mind
uncontrollably.
control.
Well, yet again, something that you might want to take away from Eugene, if that's, do you want someone as, pardon me, but insane as Eugene, with the ability to mind control people, as you say?
I mean, if it, came to having to put Snowdrop down to,
Or just freeing Snowdrop and letting her go on her merry way?
I mean, if that's a possibility, yeah, but I mean, I'm
Always
not
an option?
not
Until it's
excluding-
not?
Yeah, I'm not excluding it until it's not part.
Either way, you will be able to
Nobody will
hopefully
kill her.
finish Eugene, if nothing else.
If you were to try to kill Snowdrop, I would have to try to kill you.
Listen,
If
if there's
she
no
was
rescuing
If she was hell
Snowdrop,
bent on trying to kill you, you would just basically just let her take your life.
She is my controller.
She's not your controller. You are your own being.
She helped me see my way. She is my friend.
No, you're acting like a slave. She is not your master. She's not your controller. She is some wackadoo person who thinks she's a sugar plum fairy, and because she hugged you, for some reason, you've implanted onto her. I don't know why that's the case. I don't know if that's some feature of being a Warforged, but I'm telling you, you are your own individual. There is a soul inside of you.
I am fully aware of the soul.
Yes, so you are your own autonomous being. You do not owe her anything.
My purpose is to serve. It always
That is-
has been.
No, your purpose is to be yourself, to find something that you feel is worthy of doing and being.
And I feel I feel
blindly-
protecting her is worthy.
blindly because she gave you a hug. How does that make any sense?
Because she was nice to me.
By that logic, if Eugene all of a sudden gave you a fresh can of oil, does that mean now he's your controller?
Why would I need oil?
I don't know how Warforged work. You have
It's a fair
mechanical
assumption.
parts. They sometimes need oil.
Warforged or
I-
Tin Men, you've heard it here.
But,
Mhm.
90%
Look.
of my body is actually a composite of wood.
Well, you have look very metallic. So
Are you
Well,
saying
it-
I've been calling him Tin Man this entire time and he's not made out of tin?
okay, so
No,
not-
I'm-
Adrian
uh,
does kind of like poke him and maybe scratches a little, like, is it wood?
So,
It's
then
it's
wax.
it's ironwood.
Yeah.
Like a vast majority of their body is ironwood.
So does Tin Man still apply? Should
I
I call
have-
you Tree Man?
I have
Tree
no
Man.
tin in my body.
And you'll be Tree Man.
Jolly Green Giant.
Wait. Ironwood Man. No, that's too long. That takes too long to say.
No,
Iron
it's Tree.
Man.
Rocks fall.
I would rather
A
not,
mouse.
I'd rather not have Marvel's lawyers.
I was gonna
coming
say.
after
I was gonna say
us.
a little mouse walks in with a DMCA letter and just drops it off in front of the Kage.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh, you got served!
I heard you like to take over people's names without their permission.
Our YouTube channel is going to be
It's-
taken
it's-
down the moment it goes live.
He's like, as he's pounding a bat into his hand.
Looks like someone's a little lost.
So, the more
In
important
those
thing
words.
is, I'm more honestly interested in stopping Eugene than rebuilding a Lyceum that may or may not help at this point in time.
I don't see why both can't happen.
Well, both
I mean,
actually
Eugene-
will happen. I was hoping for all of you to help me with this, but I'll take a couple of you to start. You know, we'll have space for you when you come back from this alive and in one piece, hopefully.
That's a lot of hope. I mean, Eugene does kind of want to murder everything.
Well, if hope is what helps encourage people, then hope is all we need.
Well, I mean, so the way I see it, Eugene is currently spreading the influence of the shadow, and he's in league with the shadow, and he's trying to kill, or at least remove, other parties of power that would stand in the way of the shadow, maybe not eradicate, but at least stand in the way of the shadow. And so he's the easier target to get out of the way first. I know I said
He also
easy.
might consistently
Take a
be a problem as you're trying to rebuild said Lyceum.
Yeah,
So maybe remove something that's going to be a chronic problem before we deal with the larger problem.
Which is why I'm happy
Yeah.
that you guys would be going in our stead.
True.
I may have connections and I want to seek out more information to at least get a head start of the situation. But I do have an ability to keep in contact with you guys if need be on the Eugene situation in the future.
So it looks like you'll be getting some of us to help you, and the rest of us are going to be going with whether you want it or not.
Antia.
You, Antia, to find Eugene.
Right, so it sounds like Adrian and Ray, you're gonna be going with me then?
Yes.
That I will. So if you guys need more people to help, I know someone I'll send your way to help find Eugene.
and when we're done with Eugene, I'll come back and help with the Lyceum thing.
You had better.
I just
Defiant
kind of
little
gotta
pup.
take care of my, other obligations first.
Of course.
Under no obligation to help on this Lyceum. My only concern is making sure this psychotic madman stops trying to end my life.
Well, if what you've been saying is true, it sounds like you don't have a choice.
Well,
Eugene's dead. We bury Snowdrop. Forge says some nice words at her funeral. I go about my business. You have fun with your Lyceum. I don't understand.
Yeah, but what about your... What are they to you? God? Deity? Patron?
And,
They seem to have a stake in this.
and how do you know about that?
I know a lot of things. I know everything the Warforged knows, as of like 20 minutes ago.
That's not much.
It's enough.
Well, let's just say her and I have an agreement, and right now, getting Eugene off my plate is where I stand. Whether or not she and I want to negotiate terms after that is at my discretion.
Well, I'll take what I can get then. You're still helping in a way, and I appreciate it.
Well, okay, I kind of been thinking about that too. I mean, Durden, all joking aside, you don't seem happy, man. Like,
Maybe you should turn him into a wolf.
No matter which situation you go, you don't want to do it. You don't want to be part of it. Can somebody just like
Kage, why don't you turn him into a wolf like you did to me?
Don't do
would
that
that help?
because
I felt happy.
If you turn me into a wolf against my will, my first objective would be to tear your throat out so I can turn back into my
You
my
have
other
very
self.
you are very aggressive
Good
when
luck.
people try to help.
You could always turn him into a
Against my
badger.
will. Are you not listening?
Wait.
Adrian
You're
like
the
just
responsible for the
narrows
badger.
his
Turn
eyes.
him into something so that way he's more amicable to help you.
You're-
Adjust the way he thinks so that way
Actually,
he's more
no.
amicable
My
to help you.
suggestion, that was Forge's suggestion. My suggestion was, why don't you just leave?
You have no control over what I say or do. Am I concerned?
I
Again,
didn't
like I
tell
said,
you had to. I asked you why.
because
you
I
don't.
want to make sure Forge doesn't get himself killed in a fool's errand.
It's his
Like I
life.
said,
Are you trying to tell him what to do
I'm
against
not
his will?
trying to tell him what to do. I'm trying to convince him to not do it.
So you're trying to get him to do something that he doesn't want to do when he told you several times what he wants to do, but
I'm not
you don't agree
making
with it,
him
so
do it. What kind of... Do you have dirt in your ears?
You don't have to worry about me, Durden.
Just because you think I don't have to worry about you doesn't mean I don't. There's a
I
difference.
understand we are friends, but
And I don't want to see you die needlessly.
as some before me have said, if I die, I die.
That is not a way to live your life. From someone who's been technically dead twice, I can tell you, living is much more preferable to not.
If
But
you
is it
die for
not
something you
his
believe in, then
choice?
why not?
is it not his choice?
You've also
He-
told us that you're not here by your choice, that you're here because you've been forced to. Why isn't that the same thing?
Because there are ulterior motives on my side, so it's a quid pro quo per se.
But then wouldn't that make that not against your will?
I'm getting something out of the arrangement I have with the person who is strongly suggesting I tag along for at least the short term. Doing something that is beneficial to me, even if I have to do so begrudgingly, still in the end is something that's going to benefit me from my perspective. And I'm not trying to make Forge do something he doesn't want to do. I'm trying to convince him. Having a spirited debate and trying to win someone over to your side of an argument using logic and reason is not trying to take over their will and make them do what you want to do. There is a difference.
I think you should probably have a conversation with this Snowdrop so that she maybe understands what's happening around her and maybe could try to control it.
I've tried that. It goes in one ear and out the other.
Has she told you she can't control it?
Yeah. Out of character, I failed that insight check.
Oh,
She
that's
was,
fair.
she was lying her balls off. I rolled a 1 on that. So
I remember that. I think that was on the path up to the.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So yeah.
She was completely truthful, but with that fail, yeah.
So again, I am just following Forge to make sure if he gets himself into trouble, I can help him not be in trouble.
If anything else, it's extra help and hopefully the
If you're
annihilation
okay
of
with,
Eugene.
I can help. I cannot help you since you're so concerned with me not being around. I'm perfectly okay with that. You seem to
No,
have.
see,
Thanks.
all I'm saying is you keep saying you want to go. There was nobody stopping you.
No, I don't think any of us really want to be here.
Yeah,
What are you
we're-
talking about? I
I'm-
like to eat good food.
I'm
I
hurt.
totally want to be here.
I think Kage wants to be here.
If
Yeah, actually, I do. It's kind of fun.
if
Weird, but fun.
the
like
original plan had been
to
kept
to investigate the note, which
I
was
would-
a fake.
I would be in the Feywild right now with Snowdrop.
Oh my gosh, you would have so much fun there, Forge.
It would
But-
be a fairy dog pile on Forge.
So many people can do polymorph, and they could change you into whatever you wanted to change into, so that you could feel that.
I did enjoy being a wolf.
Not always enjoyable. Antia's just been there with like her elbows on the table, her face in her hands, like rubbing her temples the whole time.
Yeah.
This is like nothing against you people specifically.
Uh-oh.
This is just how all people are.
Oh no.
We lost a Gilly Town.
Yeah, we did.
Oh dear. I scared her off.
She's eating. She's paring her mouth and yeah. She's eating.
She'll return.
To return. Yeah.
Yeah. Cameras
So
are just
it-
what they are for now.
It's nothing against you people. This is just how people are, and this is why I don't like traveling with them. All of the talk, all of the banter, the arguing. I just like to go in, do what I'm there to do, and leave.
Well, like I said. We know where Eugene is and where possibly Snowdrop is. Once Forge sees that Snowdrop is either dead or not with Eugene, and Eugene attempts to kill us, and we end his weird existence, we can go about our separate ways.
That's the other hitch in this whole thing.
Do you
If-
not want us to
if-
kill him?
We have to go there together. We have to do this together. Eugene is mine, and I don't want him killed.
Can you
Well-
guarantee he's not going to try and kill us anymore?
No,
I do not care about Eugene. I only care about getting Snowdrop. You can do with Eugene whatever you want.
Either way, it sounds like a lot of your goals, regardless of who goes, all align in some shape or form.
I can't promise I won't kill Eugene if he's adamant about taking my life before you can placate him.
defend yourselves, sure, but like don't go in there and like if he doesn't attack you, I don't want you to take the initiative to kill him because I need him for a task.
Understand he's mental, correct?
Yes, I do. I also understand that he may be a connection to the shadow that I can utilize.
I mean,
I'm not saying don't go in there and don't fight. If a fight ensues, everyone has every right to protect their lives and the lives of their friends. But if I can get him out of there alive, I would like to.
Like us to not kill him without provocation.
Precisely. And if a fight does ensue, if you could pull your punches, let's say, disable him, but leave him breathing, that would also be preferred.
I mean, from what I saw, he's gonna be pretty able to take some punches.
Yes. Does seem that way.
Like it sounds like he wasn't exactly a pushover when these two faced him the first time. But
Before he got
now
more
he's
powerful,
worse.
apparently.
Yes.
So again, the more the merrier to help with this battle, potentially. I doubt he'll go down, or I doubt he'll come willingly.
Or die easily.
My hope was to go in there and just have a chat with him, but if he sees all of you, sounds like he might get aggressive. So,
Well, I mean, if you want to go in there first, that's fine. But when the sound of him disagreeing with you very violently and loudly happens, we're going to step in just to see if potentially Snowdrop is there.
Well, wait a second. You want to make a deal with this shadow?
I want to communicate with the shadow.
And what protections do you have from it taking over you?
I am capable. Granted,
Oh,
I've
no.
never done this before, but there's a lot of things that I've never done before that I've been quite successful at.
Like facing a dragon.
I wouldn't say I was successful at that, but
Yeah.
But the extra help is always handy.
I did come out of it relatively unscathed.
Only because we came along.
Because you had help.
I had things under control.
You
Well,
had
next time we find
stop.
you in a time stop, we'll just leave you there.
I did create that time stop,
But
Yeah.
I mean, the second that bubble went down, you would have been dragon food.
I
It would have
was-
gone down eventually.
Thinking of ways to get out of the situation, and your help was very much appreciated, and it did get me out of the situation, but I feel like I could have gotten out of it myself.
Just admit
I'm
that
okay.
the help
The help was
potentially
appreciated.
needed, but also needed.
It was timely.
I don't suppose you thought of us when you were in your frozen state.
I had
Just
not
that-
considered the possibility of a roaming band of adventurers coming to help me.
Just out of curiosity, how long would that have lasted?
Well, I had been holding it for several days. I think it was almost 2 weeks by the time you came across me. So, I probably would have starved to death in another week or so.
Uh-huh.
Just take the help. It's better to take the help than be stubborn about it.
But the help is arguing with each other so much, and it's so loud.
And yet they get results.
I just want
The
to know
earplugs are
that when you try to talk to the shadow, that you're not going to end up on its side.
I have the ability to cage myself, let's say. So I
Like
can
a
speak
time bubble?
through the bars of this cage, but I can't get out and nothing can get in.
It sounds like either way it's decided. A couple of us will stay behind and help the Lyceum, and the rest will go with you and deal with Eugene or not. Either way, the goals are there and they are aligned.
Seems that way. I was hoping to talk my way out of this, but that is not going to happen, thanks to a certain pointy-eared interloper. But that is
Which one?
It is.
Half of us
The-
with pointy ears are like, which one?
What?
Okay.
I think that's almost all of us. Almost.
All the pointy ears are like, like what?
The Fae. Oh, I'm sorry, that doesn't
Which one?
exactly
No,
narrow it down either.
That narrows it down.
The Archfey. We have our disagreements, but
But she's so pleasant.
yes, she can be.
No, I just think she is.
She's also very stubborn.
Two
Also
peas.
So are
very-
you.
She's also very fey.
So it seems I'm going to have, 4 of you accompanying me? And Alcius kind of stands up, slamming her hands down on the table. Actually, I've got a couple others in mind that I'd like to send along as well. And
Pardon me.
Antia just goes back down to face in her hands and rubbing her temples.
Like Durden calls over like a barmaid to bring like a tankard of of the honey mead that he's been drinking, and he passes it over to Antia.
She just picks it up with both hands.
No, don't you get it? They like White Claws.
HP Fox, I have a very quick background feature thing that I want to use because Kage started to question one very simple thing: whether or not he should be helping this one member of the family, or if he should try to get in touch with the rest of the family and see what would best help them.
Is there? You'll have to remind me what exactly. Like, was it just a part of your background?
Just dropping it in the chat.
Oh, it's very Star Warsy.
It is. It's great.
You feel like you are on the right track.
Okay.
The decision that you made is likely the most fortuitous for you at the moment.
When do you set out?
Well, the sooner the better. Are you all prepared to go? Or do you have business to attend to here in the city?
I'm good to leave as soon as we physically can.
I probably have a couple things I need to pick up, but should be able to go pretty quickly. What time is it?
How are you all for
Late.
equipment? You
Oh,
well armed?
I need to grab some potions, but yeah, arms are good.
So do I.
You are banned from all the potion shops.
Damn it!
What about
Why do you
me?
hate me?
Well, I'll give you the name of the place that I'm staying at. I would like all of you to come by at some point tonight. Give me a list of your equipment, and if I feel the need, I will rearm you. We're in this together. I don't want you going in unprepared. I'm not going to cut off your arms.
Weapons,
That's not what I'm
Ray.
saying.
Weapons.
Okay.
Pat.
I am
Starts to pull back the pitcher of mead.
quite
Okay,
adept at
Kage's-
enchanting, so...
Yeah, that's my meat.
Kage's gonna look at her like dead in the eye and just goes, points to his sword. This doesn't get replaced.
All right.
You can make it better though if you can.
Is it
Hard to
already enchanted?
Yes.
I'll consider making an additional thing for you. It's always more difficult to enchant something that's already been enchanted.
I get that. But this doesn't get touched.
Right. Which is why I asked for a list, not for you to drop off
Okay.
your arms. Armaments, not your actual arms. Although, Forge, I guess you technically could drop off your arms if you wanted to.
I have no need to drop off my arms. I have my hammer.
Right.
They become +3 fisticuffs.
Oh God.
But it is already imbued.
Antia,
Yes.
question. Since you are familiar with magics, do you happen to know the sending spell?
Yes.
Do you mind keeping in touch with me then, so I know what is going on, not only for the sake of the Lyceum, but as well as making sure my new companions are well? I can reply back with the same spell if needed.
I will make an effort.
I'd appreciate it.
So it seems it's settled then. We all know where we're going. We all know the goals that we have, right?
Paving Snowdrop.
And Ray, you can come with me to meet my companion at one of the abandoned Lyceum towers.
Nice, sounds good.
and Alcius again kind of taps her hands on the table to get everyone's attention. She looks directly at Ray. I don't suppose you're good at speaking to politicians, because we've got a meeting here in about 10 minutes.
I'm good at speaking to anyone.
Wonderful.
With my axe.
Adrian, you too. Those of you that are coming with me, we're about to get started.
They do make me a little uncomfortable, but I am completely familiar with politics, so yes, I will
Wonderful.
help.
I can't stand it.
Everything with politics
great.
is always solved when you bring out the weapons. Just bring out your axe. It's fine.
No weapons, please. No weapons. I've done
Not
that
again.
before. It did not go well.
Not again. No.
Now, see, she's done it before as well.
Is the goat good at talking to politicians?
Goat's great at talking to anyone. Just eats so close.
You just bring the goat in the front.
Have a goat.
Meh. We all agree.
I bet you I could make that goat talk. We'll have to talk about it later.
I'll be
I
entertained.
strangely want to see this.
Me
Oh,
too.
no.
Sounds like a project for later tonight.
All right.
Kage's gonna stand up real quick. He's gonna go over to Ray. I hardly knew you. Big hug.
Little bitty person in a big hug.
Walk over to Adrin. I have a cool voice and I want to know where it came from. Big hug.
Has he already like had his arm extended out to do like the arm clasp thing, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, just don't break my box, please. Thank you." A story for another time.
Since we're getting ready to leave, Ray's gonna climb up on Adrin's shoulder and just kind of like sit there.
Hold on.
Oh, totally. I'll hoist you up.
Kage,
What?
where's my hug?
Wah, wah.
Hold on.
I'm sorry, you have to think about it? While Kage's thinking about it, Adrian will actually go to everyone and wish them good luck. And he'll linger a little bit longer to Forge to basically give him words of encouragement to not give up hope and hope that his friend does well. And he finds what he's seeking.
As Adrin does this, with Ray on her shoulders, Ray's gonna pat everyone on the head because it's the first time she can.
He's
You're
he's
muted.
kind of tall. He's... Nope,
They've been
I was
really
like, he's
aggressively
5'3". I'm
avoiding
like, oh,
that.
that's Snowdrop. Oh, he's 6'1". Yeah, he's pretty tall.
You won't try too hard to force the head pats on you. It's okay. She'll let you avoid them.
Not the hair. Although with Perseus, it might be a little hard. You'd have to like be back at your size on the floor to...
Perseus is still technically taller than her.
How tall is Perseus?
Pretty small.
Yeah, he's not.
I thought he
Yeah,
was
but-
like 3 feet-ish.
But also halfling, so...
No. 2'7".
Oh!
Only a couple inches.
Oh.
1 inch, 2'6". 2.5 feet, exactly.
And this is why the tavern has booster seats.
Oh.
I just sat on the table the entire time. Refused to use that booster seat.
I always I pictured Ray and Perseus just sitting on the table, just doing their thing. Kage.
Kage will walk up to Alcius, and he was being very jovial and joking with the other two, but he gets a little more serious and looks at her. With your permission?
Sure.
Big hug.
And she hugs you back, and as she's doing that, you feel her slip something into your pocket. Like, very obviously, she's not trying to hide it, but she slipped something into your pocket.
I probably saw it.
Probably.
I think at this moment Ray's throwing something else at Kage's head, whatever's in her reach. Because he asked her permission,
Bread.
but not theirs.
Bread.
Yeah.
You guys are colleagues? She's something different?
Brown
Doesn't
chicken,
matter.
brown cow.
Eventually, she does release the hug, gives you a little pat on your head, and then makes her exit with Adrian and Ray in tow.
I also, by the way,
Like sliding dope.
rolled a sleight of hand for 24. Slip something into one of her pockets or belts or something.
Okay. You'll have to let me know what that is, and I will let you know about the thing she slipped into your pocket at the start of Sonata 3.
Snap.
And Antia is still there at the table, sighing heavily at everything. But eventually she does kind of sit up, stand up, and kind of crack her back and crack her knuckles. And all right, then, this is not the way I saw things going, but it is what it is, and help is going to be appreciated, I am sure.
If it makes us feel any better, you only have to deal with us until we deal with Eugene.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
Or some of us for a lot longer.
Or that. So if you could, as mentioned, stop by my place later tonight, we'll get everyone outfitted. I should warn you, you're going to want to pick up some cold weather gear, because we're going to the north yet again, into the snow and the ice, to a village that is kind of in the middle of nowhere. I have attempted teleporting there, and something seems to be blocking me from going right into the village, as
Follow Eugene.
apparent by having to trek through and being assaulted by a dragon. But yeah.
Eugene did do that teleportation trick thingy. Maybe he knows more of those.
I sure hope not. Those of you that can use Counterspell, I suggest you prepare it for our journey. Anyway, I will see you all later. She turns swiftly on her heels and walks out of the tavern. That, I think, is where this little RP session is going to come to a close now that all characters have made their case and made their decisions. Looks like we will be having...
Before we do that, like Durden is going to take his like, I guess, tableware knife, and he's going to start etching on the table in celestial runes, and he's going to say, like, in a low murmur to himself in celestial, "Are you happy now?" And then he's going to rub out the runes.
You get a reply, but did you die?
I will actually make a note of that here, and we'll see what comes of it.
Well, he has a very personal relationship with his patron, so
Same. Maybe. Yay!
Yeah, looks like we will be having 2 new characters join us. From the sounds of it, anyway.
Popper pending.
Popper pending. I believe Groudon does want to continue playing Popper, so we will see. He may come up with something else that he wants to try out more, but that will be determined before Sonata 3 starts, which is likely to be in November, pending any conflicts from the cast. Still have not sorted that out with you guys. I will figure it out through Discord before then.
Yeah. Announcements and all that good stuff.
Yeah. And we will announce, obviously, when we have the official time and dates set in stone. I also have some artwork that I commissioned for Sonata 3. I don't know if it's going to be ready in time, though. The artist, unfortunately, got very, very sick soon after I commissioned them.
Oh no.
So they're going to be fine, but they are incapable of doing anything at the moment.
Drawing while sick is just like painful on your head. You're just like, I don't want to think.
Is. Especially
He's doing
if
most
you're
anything while sick other than laying there.
Yeah.
doing it on a drawing tablet that you're like hunched over. Just
Yeah.
that hunched over motion and looking down
Because then you just start to slowly slump.
Yeah. So
Yep.
hopefully we'll have the artwork in time. If not, that's okay. I'll still show it off when I get it.
Yep. That'll be good.
So thank you everyone for making the time to do this little RP session. I'd like to do more of these in the future for things like this. Because especially for mini adventures and continuous one-shot type stuff, where you don't necessarily have a lot of time for in-depth RP during the adventure, I like making times like this to get to know the characters better and have those discussions that we want to have but can't have during the adventures themselves. So maybe more in the future. We'll see how it goes. But that will do it for us. This is going to be uploaded to YouTube, obviously, because you're probably watching it on YouTube at the moment. So sorry to Twitch people, but is what it is. Sonata 3 will be live on Twitch as per usual for the full duration of it, and that as well will be uploaded to YouTube. Thank you again, everyone.
We'll see you soon.